So the winner is of this entire shootout between this 2022 Honda CRF250RX and the 2021 YZ250FX. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Dirt Bike Sam. Today we have the Honda and the Yamaha on single track. Let's talk about it. If you're not already subscribed, hit the subscription button. Really helps us out. Also, if you want to help the channel out and allows us to buy parts and hopefully dirt bikes, go click on the Rocky Mountain ATV link in the description below. We really appreciate it. We get a small commission, so thank you in advance. All right, guys, we have been testing these bikes on everything. We've taken them in the desert, we've taken them on the track, and now we're out here in the middle of the mountains, finally, after a banner snow season, to hit single track. Fast, flowy single track, and it's what these bikes love to do, so it's gonna be a great shootout. Both these bikes, similar horsepower, similar weight, they are different from riding them. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give you what we love about each bike, what we hate about each bike, and then we're gonna pick a winner. So we've been doing a King of the Hill. So far, there's one bike, if you've been following along, that has been the bike to beat. And if you haven't seen those videos, go back and check out our other videos so you know which bike is currently winning out of these two. Let's talk about what we hate about these bikes first. So let's talk about the Yamaha. The Yamaha, for me, the one thing that I absolutely hate, and maybe Logan's the same with this, is that it's when you've been riding it a while, it warms up, it's hard to start, especially in gear. Now there are ways to adjust that. You can make the clutch a little softer or do some adjustments and it'll start easier. Now we have an anti-gravity battery in there that's supposed to help it start easier, but it doesn't. So that's a common problem with the 2021s and above. Some bikes have it, some don't. Super annoying. I hate that. Is it fixable? Yes, but that's probably the number one thing I hate. Absolutely. And you can, another little cheat that we found is you can actually kind of roll the bike as you hit the start button to kind of get it to go, as long as it's got a little bit of movement. But even that, like you said, if you're on a hill or a side hill and off balance, you're not moving the bike. It sucks. I feel like the Yamaha, being a closed course off-road racing bike, it should come with a few goodies. So it does not have flag guards, where the Honda and other brands do have those. It does come with a skid plate. Is it a good skid plate? No. But as far as the fit and finish of the Yamaha, that's probably the only thing I hate. Yeah, it's, I mean, again, kind of to that same point, it's still using like the cable clutch, right? Yeah, but the cable clutch feels, because it's a really good one, it feels nicer than the hydraulic clutches we have on a lot of our other bikes. So again, kind of to the Yamaha point though, is there are some things that feel like they may be lacking in advanced technology, maybe a little bit, but otherwise, I mean, it came with the fan on it. No, I had to buy the fan. So we had to buy the fan. But the one good thing about the fan, so I wish they all had fans. The one good thing about the fan is actually pretty affordable. It was like 80 bucks and it bolted right on, which the KTMs have that, the Honda doesn't. You have to buy an aftermarket and basically retrofit it to get it to work right. We've put one on our 2019 that we no longer own, so that is an option, but it was like the Yamaha was built for it, and it was affordable, and it was easy to put on, and I installed it in less than 30 minutes, so it was pretty nice. So the one last thing I probably hate about it is if you're running stock mapping, the higher or the more powerful mapping, which is really easy to change with the Yamaha tuner app, it was lurchy. So it would be kind of jerking, and that's annoying when you're riding slow. But there are lots of maps out there that smooth that out. So I know I'm nitpicky there, but I gotta find something else I hate about it. From stock, that was annoying. I'm running the Kiefer map on the high aggressive one, and then I have the lower one. I actually don't use the lower map, or the more toned down traction map, so to speak. Even in hard enduro scenarios, I just use the Kiefer map. It really does smooth the power out, and it kind of eliminates a lot of that lurchiness. So the last thing that I'm probably gonna say that I hate, I'll add to that list because I'm grasping at straws here, is when you sit on the Yamaha, it feels fat and it feels like a really compact cockpit or rider profile.
But as soon as you ride it, all that went away for me.
Yeah, it feels big on the ground.
Yeah.
Not moving.
Yeah.
But it goes away the minute you start rolling.
Now let's talk about the Honda. What do you hate, Logan, about the Honda?
So I have a little bit of PTSD when it comes to Hondas because my first bike was a Honda.
Yes. A CRF250X.
Yep. And this is obviously way better than that bike was. So initially, I had a little bit of reservation, and some of those things, it's still a Honda, right? It still has some of the Honda. So if you love Honda, it's still a Honda. If you didn't like Honda, then you may not like this one. But some of the things that I don't like about it, it's a 5-speed.
Yes.
Right?
This is a 6-speed.
So versus the 6-speed. So it does feel, the gears feel different. Like shifting is just different, getting through the gears, because they're not at the same level. That's the first one for me, is it's got too much between gears sometimes. I feel like it's lacking at the top end of those gears.
Yeah, and what that does is, it does fantastic. The faster you ride it, the better it goes. But that means it hurts it in single track and in gnarly, like technical terrain. It actually, that 5-speed really hurts this bike. And you know, there is different mapping that you can do to get more grip, and that does help. But it's still a 5-speed, and it's basically the faster you ride it, the better it is. So this bike, between the two, this flames out way more. Even with my clutch pulled in, we're pretty decent with the clutch, and it still will flame out on me. And we have our ridge trail that we took of this up a really technical single track. This really struggled, and I was flaming out constantly compared to this. And that, a lot of it is the gearbox.
Like Sam said, the way to overcome that is go faster. And that's what we found, not to give too much away from other videos, but that's what we found in the desert, was the faster this one goes, the happier I felt.
Same on a moto track, yeah.
Yep. If you're slow on that bike, it's really not a lot of fun to ride.
So here's the next thing that we hate about this bike. I absolutely hate the gas tank. The gas tank just feels so big, and it really does affect the balance of the bike more than I thought it would. Now, in 2022, which this is a 2022, they completely did this is a new bike from the older bike. So it's way better than a 2019. It's way more nimble, but when you ride it, you immediately feel how fat it is. Yeah, and it's, they could have got the slimmer profile. Obviously some of the other manufacturers, do it differently, and they put the tank further down, which allows you to have the bigger tank, because it's an off-road bike, so it should. I do appreciate it being a bigger tank. But when you're riding it, you can't, it's noticeable. It does go away and you get used to it. So I know that's a bit of a nitpick, but that's something I don't like.
And one of the counters to that, or the way to overcome that, is to stand up a little bit more.
Yeah.
It is a little bit thinner, but the one thing we've loved about Hondas in the past is that sit down turn, being able to just slide through a turn real smooth. That's what Hondas, that's my favorite thing about Hondas, the CR line, is that sit down and just grab a fistful of throttle. So yeah, you feel the width of this one for sure. Another thing that I hate about this bike is the feeling that I have when I'm in the air. Like I just said, on the ground, cornering, that kind of stuff, Honda's really nailed that really well. Where I feel it lacks is when I'm in the air. I feel, whether it's the suspension or just the balance of the bike, I feel less confident airborne on that bike than I do on other bikes. So in the air with the suspension, don't feel comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, that's our hate list. You comment below what you think of these bikes and what things that you think you love or hate. So now we're going to talk about the things that we love. So let's talk about the Honda first. The things that I really love about the Honda is it's such a good looking bike. It is a beautiful bike. It looks good, really good, and there's that saying, look good, play good, right? It looks really good. And the great thing is when you ride this bike by itself, it actually feels really good. It has a great rider cockpit. You know, the faster you go, it does reward you. And, you know, I don't feel like it's, you know, completely unbalanced, or the power's like, it's got good power. It does everything good. Does it do everything great? No, but as far as the look and the fit and finish, I think it's a great bike. I really like it. Logan, give us what you love about this bike too.
Yeah, so what I love about Honda is if you've ridden a Honda and you like Honda, this is the best Honda that I've ridden.
Absolutely.
I think it is so good.
Hondas, multiple 4-stroke.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what Honda is really good at just kind of slowly iterating and slowly making things better. And I think they've done it again with this bike, is they've made this bike the best Honda that we've ridden to date.
Especially 250 4-stroke, yep.
Yep, 250 4-stroke. And what that means to me is that it's fun to ride. And again, anybody that's ridden Hondas, this is a great Honda. Like I said in the beginning, if you like Hondas, this is a great one to have. Like we also already said, if you like going fast and if you make this bike go fast, it's great. Like Sam said too, the color scheme, the way that it looks, it's an eye catcher. It is a good looking bike. It is so much fun to ride in the desert. I mean, we had a blast going fast in whoop sections. It just ate it up. So that's where this bike really shines. And honestly, when we went to the desert, I was selecting this bike over other bikes because it was so much fun to ride at those high speeds across the whoops.
Yeah, and if Honda did a few things, 6-speed, narrow gas tank, it would be even better in my mind. So those are pretty easy fixes for Honda that they could do easily.
And if you wanted the bike to do that, you know, depending on where you're at or what you're riding.
Yeah. Yeah, and you could throw a 250R tank on there, or an aftermarket that probably has a little bit lower profile that would help as well. All right, guys, let's talk about the Yamaha. So it is no secret, if you've been following along, I have a love affair with this bike. This is my most favorite 4-stroke I have ever ridden. This bike gives me so much confidence between the way the power comes on, how the suspension is, and how the balance is, and the rider profile. I feel like I'm way more confident. I feel like I can charge harder no matter the conditions. If it's on the moto track, if it's on the desert, and if it's out in the hard enduro stuff, this bike does phenomenal. And to me, the sign of a good bike is how much confidence it gives you. This gives me okay confidence. This gives me probably too much confidence. The suspension out of the box is the best. Yamaha makes the best suspension out of the box, especially in the front forks. The motor is really good. It does, even though they're similar horsepower, this feels like it has more power. Just the way it revs better. And even like being more hunched, you feel like I get into the attack position and I can grip the bike, and all of the fatness of the bike goes completely away, and I feel really nimble.
I don't know what else to do but to just to copy that. Like, this bike is builds so much confidence, and specifically in some of those areas where you're going fast, even when you're going slow, when you're in the air, when you're going through whoops, it really eats them up. Now, we've highlighted some of the areas. If you get stuck and starting it back up and some of the things, like, that's
it's
rough.
not perfect.
It's heavy. It's a big bike.
Yeah, it's heavy. Yeah.
It's heavy, but it's so good when it's like as you're running, as you're riding, and to Sam's point, when you just forget about the bike, when you're not thinking about pulling the clutch, when you're not thinking about I have to lean, I have to do this, and you're just flowing with the bike, that's what you get with this Yamaha.
And every one of our friends, including everyone from Richard, who's a beginner, our buddy Tyler, that's an intermediate rider, us, the intermediate riders, all the way up to my cousin Will, and even our buddy Josh, who's a pro level rider, they pick this bike over this bike. So the winner of this entire shootout between this 2022 Honda CRF 250RX and the 2021 YZ250FX is the Yamaha.
It's the Yamaha.
What can beat it? What do we think can beat it? So,
is there a bike that can
beat this bike? Like we, you know, in the 250 space, we really only have a newer version of this, and for 2024, I don't think they updated it. They updated the motocross bikes, but I still think the FX model, it hasn't been updated yet, maybe for 2025. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then there's the Kawasaki, and then I think we have a Does Husqvarna make a cross-country 250? I think they only make a 350 and 450.
I think they have a 350,
And then the KTM 250 XCF. So we want to get our hands on one of those bikes to see if we can dethrone this and see if it's better. What do you guys think? Comment below. Is there a bike that can beat the king of the off-road 250s? Let us know.